is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show. Tonight on the red carpet for the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund's 10th Anniversary Memorial Gala. And I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the bassist, Jeff Pilson.
Wow, I love being a man, myth, and legend. That's pretty cool.
You know what? But the thing is, Jeff, you are the man, the myth, the legend. There's a lot of people now in metal that are legends because you've been doing it for so long, and nobody can compete with you.
Well, thank you, and I guess we should get something out of the deal, for being in it this long.
Yeah.
But thank you. That's very kind of you.
No problem. Now, Jeff, a lot has been going on with Dokken, also Lynch Mob.
Oh well, yeah, they're going to be touring together this summer, I guess it is. Yeah. And George is going to go up and play a couple songs at the end. Yeah, I'm not going to be involved in that, but just because I can't. But it's going to be cool, I think.
Yeah, you're pretty busy with Foreigner this year, right?
Pretty busy. Yeah. We're doing the UK with Whitesnake, and then we're going to Europe with the Dead Daisies, which has Glenn Hughes in it, which is great, good friend and amazing singer and bass player. And then we're doing a tour of the States with Kansas and Europe all through the summer. So yeah, we're very, very busy this year.
You guys have an amphitheater out here in Irvine that you guys are going to be headlining with Kansas and Europe.
That is correct. I don't know the date, but you're right. It's the 5 Point Amphitheater, I think they call it. Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
It legendary. When we talk about legends, we're going to say it used to be at the Irvine Meadows.
Right. And now it's the 5 Point Amphitheater. But yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that's August. Not 100% sure, but I think it is.
Now, is Mick doing all these? He's doing the whole tour?
He's doing the whole tour. He may not do every show, but he's going to do the whole tour. Yes.
Okay. How is he doing health-wise?
He's doing great. It's kind of a precaution. Just let's be cool. He doesn't absolutely have to do it. So if we can make it a little easier on him, it's a little better. But he's doing great. He's in wonderful spirits. He's playing great. Everything's great.
Let's talk about your time with Dio. You had the honor of working with the man. One of my favorite records that you played on with Dio was Strange Highways. And your bass tone on that album was incredible. Let's give me a little bit of a story behind that.
Well, it's funny because I was at home. This would have been probably spring of '93, I'm guessing. I was at home, and I hear a knock on the door. And I open the door, and it's Ronnie and Vinny. And I'm like, hey, guys, we were very good friends, so, it wasn't that unusual for them to come by, but it was like middle of the day kind of thing. And they said, hey, you know of any bass players? Jimmy hasn't showed up for like a week, so we anybody that can play? And I said, well, yeah, me. He goes, can you come play right now? I said, well, there's one problem. My sprinklers are broken. And so they said, okay, hold on. And Vinny is extremely handy. Ronnie was pretty handy as well. The two of them took about 15 minutes and fixed my sprinklers so we could go play. And that was the beginning of the Strange Highways album cycle. We had an amazing time. They were playing only like 10 minutes from my house, so it was very easy to do. We jammed. We came up with the music. Ronnie would write the lyrics. It was a magical time. Really, really was.
Now, the amazing thing about Strange Highways is it is by some considered to be one of the heaviest Dio records. Okay, sonically.
In some ways, yeah. And that was Mike Frazier, the engineer, who was a genius. He was amazing, really fun to work with. He just worked with Ronnie really great, got him what he wanted, and gave him really deep, heavy sounds. It was great.
Now, tell me, as far as the songwriting process, what are some of your memories from writing those songs?
Just that, it was really magical. We would literally just jam, the three of us, Tracy and Ronnie and I. We'd just play, and Vinny would record everything. And when we would get done something, Ronnie would go, okay, that one. Vinny, give me that tape. And then he'd go home and he'd write lyrics for it, and he'd come back the next day. Almost always it worked like that. And then he'd have songs, and we'd start going through, and we'd make arrangement changes a lot of times after he wrote the lyrics. But it was like that almost every day for all the songs. It was just insane. We just had a wonderful time. We all got along really well as friends, and musically, the chemistry was undeniable. So I'm glad. I think people are starting to recognize that album a little more than they did at the time. It kind of threw people people for a loop at the time, but it seems to have aged well, so I'm really happy about that.
Who is Ronnie James Dio to Jeff Pilson? How would you describe that relationship?
Kind of a brotherly friendship kind of thing. I mean, he was the kind of, it was really interesting because we bonded on so many levels. I mean, we were both big readers, and we would, like read a book and lend it to the other guy. I mean, we'd do all sorts of stuff like that. I remember many a plane ride, just, picking each other's brains. I mean, we really bonded as friends. And musically, it was one of the most organic and smooth relationships I've ever had. He's a phenomenal musician, and very respectful, but yet very decisive. And it was like a great combination. And it just made for somebody. He was an amazing band leader. I don't know if people realize how in tune he was with everything that went on. I mean, he knew the lights. He knew everything about the PA. He knew every aspect of the show. I mean, he knew about the trucks. And all the crew loved him. And, he was so amazing in that. And as a band leader and leader of a touring unit, he was incredible.
Strange Highways was a follow-up, in a way, to him exiting Black Sabbath after the Dehumanizer tour. Right. Did he bring any of that into the mix during the recordings of that album?
I don't remember that necessarily. I know that there was some controversial things going on, but Ronnie was very much a gentleman, and he dearly loves Tony and Geezer and Vinny, of course. Yeah. So I mean, he was so respectful. He wasn't the kind of guy that told tales out of school. He wasn't like that. So I didn't hear much about that. But what I did hear is I know that he always wanted to do his best. Excellence was his middle name, and he just never failed in delivering that. And it's infectious. It makes everybody want to be that way. And I love that about working with him and being in the band. It just felt like you were in this just killing unit, and that's a great feeling.
Talk about Don. I just saw him at the Hall of Heavy Metal History Awards. Right. What's your relationship like with Don? Do you guys still love each other?
Oh, I think I speak for both of us and say absolutely. I haven't talked with him for a while. I mean, we'll get email every once in a while. He'll text every once in a while. It's just infrequent. It's not non-existent. I know George is talking with him a lot. I just spoke with George a couple hours ago, as a matter of fact, and he said he's been talking to Don. So, I mean, the relationships are all, solid, and from that respect, again, not frequent. I'm gone a lot. Not that with the cell phone you can't talk right away, but yeah, I don't talk to him too often. But if we did see each other, it would be big hugs, and it'd be a very affectionate thing.
Yeah, and Don is a cancer survivor, and the reason you're here tonight is for the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. Tell us why it's important.
Well, because as a lot of these speakers have been talking tonight, cancer is something that if you detect it early, there's a very, very strong chance, especially now, of either beating it or at least putting it into remission. And a lot of people, Ronnie included, didn't get tested early enough, and that was what made it get so bad. If people just take a little more time, really take care of yourself, do the right thing, go in, get checked. Frankie Pinelli was here tonight, and he gave a very moving talk about, he waited too long and now he's got stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So, but you can do something about it, and that's really the main message about this whole night. Really, is let's all fight it. Let's all make some money that we can put into cancer research to cure it, and then get checked, and let's do something about it as early as we can.
Hal, what is the most comforting thing for you about being a member of Foreigner? Comforting.
Wow, that's an interesting way of putting it. I would say the camaraderie of everybody in the band. We do really get along well. We'd have to, because we tour, I think, more than anybody out there. But we all really do get along. We really do love one another. A lot of humor. I mean, we have, what's funny is we joke because we practically have our own language now. There's so many inside jokes and terms that we use. I mean, I've seen people in the room with us before when we're just talking, we don't realize somebody else is there, and they'll look up and they'll go, "What the hell are you guys saying?" I mean, we have so many crazy expressions and little terminology things. So, but I think that camaraderie is the reason I've been able to maintain for 16 years, because it would drive you crazy without that. It really would. I mean, the travel. I mean, the shows don't drive you crazy. The shows are great. The fans are wonderful. The band and songs are great. But having that camaraderie keeps you sane. It's a check on the insanity of road life, and having that is very comforting.
Now, you've worked with some of the greatest singers in rock. You're working with Kelly Hansen now in Foreigner.
Yeah.
This man is amazing. He was amazing in Hurricane when they were signed to Enigma back in the day, and he's, I think, even more amazing in Foreigner, because I think he's really able to show his chops off.
I think you're right. I mean, Hurricane was a great band, but in this, I mean, he is singing, I mean, very difficult songs to sing. I mean, they're not easy.
No, Lou Gramm was the man.
Lou Gramm, those recorded performances are some of the best in rock. And Kelly nails it every night. And, he had to develop a way to do it. And he does it effortlessly now, but he really knows how to take care of himself and make it happen. And you got to respect him for that. And you just got to love the amount of focus he has to pull off that gig every single night. I mean, 120 shows a year for the last 15 years. That's crazy. That's really, really crazy. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing that he can do that.
Tell us the secret. Is rock and roll still glamorous for you? Is it what you thought it was going to be when you were a kid and you signed up?
Not what I thought. Not when I was a kid. I imagined more of the pure glamour, as you might say. What I didn't realize is how much in love with music I would become. How much I would fall in love with music, and it's really the music that sustains me. It's not the sex, drugs. It's the rock and roll. Maybe I'm too old for the other stuff, but but honestly, it's the music that really does give you that satisfaction, and that really, it's the fix. You get the music, and having that, I don't think I would have guessed that as a kid. As a kid, sure, you love the music, but you saw it in context of stardom and money and chicks and all that kind of thing. It's not that. It's really not. I mean, yeah, there was a period of that, but you can't do that for 40 or 50 years, but you can do music for 50 years, and that's what I've been able to do, and it's a surprise, but it's a great one.
Highlight of your time in Dokken?
Well, in some ways it would have been the Monsters of Rock tour in '88, because we were out there with, it was Van Halen, Scorpions, us, Metallica, and Kingdom Come, and everybody was friends. Everybody was crazy partying back then. There would have to be a couple days between shows, unless we were doing 2 nights in one venue, because you had all these trucks, you had all this gear. I mean, it took that long to get the whole operation to the next city. So it was one of the most fun tours you can ever imagine being on. Everybody was a character, just so many fun times. And then playing stadiums, that was a really cool thing. Every night. I mean, I wish Dokken would have been more up to the task at the time. That was not our strongest time as a live band. We were better before that. And that was the way we went out in the 80s. And I wish, that's almost a regret. I wish we would have gone out on a more positive note. Playing for all those people and not being at our best, that still kind of hurts. But having said that, it was an amazing experience. You still hear about it today. There's still stories about it. So that was probably, if I had to pick right away a highlight, that would probably be it.
What do you, to Jeff Pilson, what makes George Lynch such a fantastic guitar player?
His soul. I mean, he's just got so much soul in his playing. When George is in the zone, as I call it, because he's not always in the zone, by his own admission. Sometimes he's kind of waffling about, but when he gets in the zone, it is pure magic, and it's all coming from his soul. He's not a schooled musician, so he's not thinking about scales and stuff like that. It's all from here. And when he connects with that, I mean, number one, he's a genius. I don't know if people realize that. He is actually a musical genius, and he's actually just a genius guy. He really is. So when he's connected, and when the music is flowing through him with that genius and that much soul, it is. I think he's the greatest guitar player in the world when he's in that zone.
What is Jeff Pilson listening to right now? What's new? I mean, you have kids, right?
I have a daughter who's 15 and a half who's here tonight.
Is she listening to Billie Eilish?
No, she really doesn't. You know what she loves? She loves musical theater.
Okay.
I listen to Billie Eilish a bit because I really, really respect what she's doing. I think she's pretty incredible, actually. It's really unique. It's very dark and cool, but it's real because it's all from her and her brother, I guess, too. But I mean, it's pretty amazing. So my daughter listens to musical theater. She loves it. Sings it and goes around the house singing it. And every summer she tries to do musicals at like a camp that she goes to, which is pretty cool. What am I listening to? I listen to it. Basically, what I do is it depends what I'm going to write. If I'm going to write anything remotely contemporary, I'll listen to what's in pop music. None of it totally thrills me. There's a few things I think Sam Smith is amazing. I really like Sam Smith a lot. I do like Billie Eilish. Hip hop, I'm very indifferent about. When it's more melodic, I tend to like it. Not crazy about Justin Bieber. That's a little too electronic-y for me, but he's great. As far as rock goes, what am I listening to for rock? Wow, it's interesting. I've been so into making these records that I've been doing with Frontiers lately. I kind of get lost in that. So I'll plug the Black Swan record right now.
You are a part of many supergroups that Frontiers is allowed to exist.
Are they allowed to be called supergroups if you're in a bunch of them? But I don't know. But
you know what? There's a war online about what a supergroup. Somebody actually had the gall to say that Asia wasn't a supergroup.
Wasn't a supergroup. Wow, that's kind of weird.
Okay.
They were kind of that was like sort of the original incarnation of supergroups. So, okay.
I mean, you had, these guys all had pedigrees. Wetton from Crimson.
Yep.
Carl Palmer.
Yep. Jeff Downs.
Yep. Steve Howe, who co-wrote. Yeah.
Roundabout.
There's a lot of opinions online about supergroups.
I mean, again, who cares about names? What's great, though, is that Frontiers is providing a platform for all these. I mean, listen, you have to do a lot of things these days to get music out there. And I don't do these records, for money or whatever. I do them because I love doing it. I have a wonderful day job with Foreigner, but we don't record that much. We do some recording, which is great, but I love to record. So having the opportunity to record as much as I can on my off time, I do. And if you want to call those supergroups, that's great. It's basically an opportunity to work with really talented people, whether they have a pedigree or not. But when they do, that's nice as far as the record sales go. But to work with great talented people and collaborate and make music, that's what I love to do. And recording is my favorite.
Well, let's talk about Black Swan.
Well, the record came out February 14th. It's called Shake the World. It's Reb Beach from Winger Whitesnake, Robin McCauley, MSG, Michael Schenkerfest, Raiding the Rock Vault. Amazing singer. Just an amazing singer. And Matt Starr from Mr. Big and Ace Frehley. So the record came out. It's called Shake the World. We have 3 videos out right now. We have a video for Shake the World, the title track. That came out first. We have a song called Big Disaster, which came out. And then we have a video for the song Make It There, which is actually just a making of the first 2 videos, but with this ballad behind it that is a beautiful ballad. And I'm just really excited about it. Robin's singing, incredible. Reb's guitar playing and writing, and just insane. It's really, really high quality stuff. And Matt just plays the crap out of the drums on this. Really, really brought a lot of energy to it, which is wonderful. So I'm very excited about that. We'll see what happens with it, but there you go, supergroup number 2.
and when you got in the studio with these guys to write, did it just explode?
Basically, yeah. Reb and I had done a Dokken record over 20 years ago, so we knew we had a really strong writing chemistry. We really enjoyed doing that Dokken record together. So we knew it was going to be good. But he would come for like about a week at a time to my place, and I have a beautiful studio attached to my house, and we would just get up in the morning and we'd start. He had some ideas with him, and let's work on that one, and then we'd build it into a song. By the end of the day, we had the tracks. It was amazing. Then we'd send Robin the lyrics, or the music, and he would write a first draft of lyrics, which sometimes we kept it just the way it was, sometimes we changed it a little bit, but it was constant collaboration, lots of laughs, but very productive, really productive. All the way through. It was amazing. Very inspired project. Amazing playing and singing by everybody. I'm very, very proud of it. And Frontiers has been wonderful. They've been very supportive. Hoping we can take it to the next step, which would be great.
The touring cycle, it's hard to go out there and tour nowadays.
It's a little bit of that. It's mostly really scheduling. We all have other gigs that have to take precedence. That's our priorities. So finding the time where we could do it would be very, very difficult. Not impossible. Mm-hmm. And we would like to make it work somehow. Probably going to be tough, but we'd like to make it work. But if nothing else, I hope we get to make another record, and then maybe the time will open up. Just got to see. But you're right. It's hard to tour. It's mostly hard to find the time.
The Blairing Out Show.